Hello and welcome to Radio Waves. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. We're broadcasting out of WLBE-AM out of Leesburg, Florida. And I'd also like to welcome our viewers who are watching us on Lake Sumter Television, Comcast Channel 13, CenturyLink Prism Channel 83, and now Bright House Spectrum Channel 498. So for today's show, I wanted to talk about mentoring. And the importance that it can play in some of our young adults and some of the youth out there. So with that, I'm going to open up our show with our very first guest, Miss Brittany Timmons, the Director of Community Strategy and Initiatives for the Community Foundation of Southlake. Brittany, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with telling the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am actually a native of Eustis, Florida. I was born and raised. I am currently an Orange County resident, but have been blessed to come back to Lake County to do my career. So I am definitely happy to be here today. At the Community Foundation, I am the, as you stated, Director of Strategies and Initiatives. And there, I started off with our DREAM program. So that's one of the initiatives that we have. It started about a year ago, and it's a mentor-focused program. Well, really, it's a scholarship-focused program with a mentor component, and that's the main component for that initiative, where we focus on a group of high school and middle school students. Ultimate goal is for them to achieve a scholarship, but within that, we also want to make sure they have a mentor, they have the resources that they need to meet their basic needs. If they need tutoring, they may need food, also equipping them with leadership skills and community service and things of that sort. So just making sure it's a holistic scholarship program and not just once you graduate, here's some money and figure out life.
Right. So it's the full picture, the
Absolutely.
big picture.
Absolutely.
And how do you go about? So this is the first, for lack of a better term, class.
Yes.
Or the first selection.
Yes.
How's that going so far? Because this has been going for a year now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going really well. Our students are steadfast in the program, and they are definitely achieving the goals that we have set for them. There are some challenges, naturally, with academics,
Sure.
But with the program, we're there to step in and help intercede if they need tutoring, or maybe we need to go speak to a teacher and figure out what needs to happen. But the program's going really well. The great thing about it being new is that we can continue to change it and move it around as the needs are for the students. It's not just a one-stop, here's how it has to go. It's basically tailored to the students so that we can help them the best way that they need it.
Okay, so now how do you go about doing that? Is it just the mentor's responsibility to maintain everything that the student is going through? Like, is it the mentor that raises the flag and say, I've looked at your grades, we have an issue, or he needs tutoring, or are there more components in this program?
It's a combination. I am very involved with the program. I meet with the students on a monthly basis so that I'm hearing what their needs are, but their mentors are definitely a main focus, in that they are probably the first ones to hear or see that the grades aren't going very well, or hear that there are internal problems within the home. And once they are notified of that, they'll contact me, and we just work together as a team. Just because mentorship is so personal.
Sure.
And that's why it's a real main focus for the DREAM Initiative.
Okay. Now, how many students do you have enrolled now?
We currently have 20 students enrolled in the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are they the original?
They are, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you have to share mentors, or do each student have their own mentor?
That's an excellent question. The goal is for each student to have their own mentor. It has been a bit of a challenge just because the requirement is for the mentors to meet at least 4 hours a month, and some of those mentors are required to meet at schools. Mm-hmm. But if they don't have their own individual mentor, then they have me. So for those who have their individual mentors, they have me and their mentor, or it's just myself until the mentors are recruited and I can match them individually.
Okay. So how many mentors are you up to right now? Do you know offhand? I'm sure you do. You can.
I have
counting yourself as one.
Right. I have about 10 mentors, so we still are in need of mentorships for sure, especially for our young females.
Oh, okay. Now, what do you look for in a mentor? Can it just be anybody that says, you know what, I want to be a mentor? And you go, okay, here, sign here, press hard 6 copies, and...
It's not that easy. Our mentors are required to do a level 2 background check. I also meet with them because if I'm comfortable with them, more than likely a student will be. If I'm uncomfortable, I can say at this point, we're not going to move forward. My first priority is the safety of the students. And so I want to make sure that they would be comfortable with whomever that adult is. But they do have to pass the level 2 fingerprinting with the school board as well.
Okay. And that makes sense. I mean, really, you don't want... Oh, yeah, I want to be a mentor. That's
right.
Great. What did you do before you came in here today? Well, I just robbed a bank, so I've got plenty of money.
That would be a problem.
Right. Once you establish the mentor, and you said that they meet once a month for 4 hours?
They are actually meeting, their hours are 4 hours a month, but it's more than once a month.
Okay.
So they could be meeting bi-weekly, or they could be meeting once a month, or once a week.
And that's kind of what I was asking.
Yes.
Okay.
And those meetings, the mentorship is more of a relationship versus a responsibility, in that a student may have a C, and it's not my expectation that they're going to drive the student to have a B, but to connect them with the resources. So really just creating consistent relationship with them is what I ask of the mentors.
I know the mentors don't get paid for this.
Right.
But it's still an organization that has to make sure it gets out there. And you had mentioned scholarships a little earlier. Can you go into a little more detail on that?
Absolutely. So the Dream Initiative does have a funding piece to it. When we initially started, the Community Foundation supported the funding aspects of it. What we have found is that it will definitely be a need of support from the community and different funders, because our funds are restricted to South Lake County. So we want to make sure that we're not taking away from the nonprofits that we need to serve for our initiative, but have funding come from other places as well, so that we can expand the program in different areas within the community. Right now, our scholarships, the majority of them have been funded. We do still have about 4 that still need to be funded. We were blessed with a great gift for about 5 of those scholarships, but we definitely still need funding for the programmatic pieces. We have leadership skills that we want to enhance them with, and that takes programming.
Sure.
So just the different components require financial support, and any and everyone who is willing to give, 2 pennies that rub together would be great.
Right. And you mentioned working with other nonprofit organizations. How does that work? I mean, is it mutual?
Absolutely. Sometimes it is that you help them, they help you. But what we realize is that we definitely need the support of the nonprofits within the community, because they are the experts in what they do. For instance, the leadership skills, obviously, I have... with my professionalism, some things that I can give them, but there are some people within the community or organizations within the community who focus in those areas. And so instead of reinventing the wheel, we want to reach out to them to incorporate what we need for our students. On the other aspect of what we can do for the nonprofits, Community Foundation of South Lake does a lot in giving to nonprofits. And so we have grant cycles where nonprofits can apply to us for funding. Okay. We also have where we can create funds for the nonprofits in the event that they have reserve funds that are just sitting there, gaining the 17 cents a month type thing, where we can kind of help them grow that money over some time, and they can continue to give to their own nonprofits.
Now, if someone was interested, where can they get more information, or to find out whether or not they want to be a mentor, or how they can help with fundraising, or just in the organization in general?
Great question. I can be contacted directly at 352-988-6637, or they can visit our website and read up more on the things that we have available, which is cfslc.org.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you cater specifically to the South Lake area. Mm-hmm. What cities and towns, and cater is probably a strong word, because I realize you may reach out further than that.
We absolutely do reach out further than that. We when we began 20 plus years ago, we received an endowment fund of about $6 million from the sale of the South Lake Hospital. And so those funds are restricted to the South Lake community. But anyone who has donated, whether it be you that says, I have $10,000 and I just want to give to a nonprofit, can you help me do that the best way possible? Your funds can go to Africa if you wanted them to.
Okay.
And so we're restricted from the initial about $6 million, but any other funds that we have can go anywhere the donor chooses for them to go.
Okay. Now, the DREAM initiative itself focuses on just the South Lake area,
Yes.
though, correct? At least for the pilot program.
Exactly.
Okay.
The hope is that it will expand.
Okay. And what do you think what do you need for it to expand?
Well, we really want to make sure that it's a model that works. So we didn't want to say, let's induct 50 students and trying to
Sure.
figure out everything along the way with 50 students bouncing around everywhere, as well as making sure that we're able to secure their scholarships. We wanted to have a realistic expectation for the program. So the goal is definitely to expand it. Once we figure out the loops and humps of the DREAM initiative, we'll definitely expand it in the future.
Okay. And what age group did you select this for this group?
For this group, they were middle school students. When they were first massaged, I should say, for the program, for lack of a better word, I guess. And so when they were actually inducted, they were 7th and 8th graders. So now they've graduated, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
So they're in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Brittany, for coming.
Thank
and
you.
we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll be speaking with Miss Stephanie Brinkley. Hi, welcome back to Radio Waves. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and you're listening to My 790 AM out of Leesburg, Florida. On our first segment, we were speaking with Brittany Timmons of the Community Foundation of South Lake, and now I'd like to welcome our second guest. So, Stephanie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Kris. Thanks for having me.
All right, anytime. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
You, I think, are a outstanding success story. So maybe we could start there and go into Take Stock in Children.
Sure. Well, I guess I'll start backwards if I can.
Yes, please.
I have the pleasure of serving on the Advisory Council for Take Stock in Children of Lake and Sumter County. And Take Stock in Children is an organization that provides, we like to say, scholarships, mentors, and hope for local students right here in Lake and Sumter County. We say scholarship, mentors, and hope, but it really goes so much deeper than that. It's scholarships for college, it's college prep, everything from information on financial aid to SATs, as well as mentors. And I think mentorship, as it relates to Take Stock, is really about being a cheerleader and creating a one-on-one relationship with the students that are selected for our program. And although I'm new...
I'm sorry. That is a fabulous way to put it. It really is.
Yeah, I think that often people may feel that the title of mentor is daunting, but it really is just creating a one-on-one relationship with a student or a peer that really needs, uplifting. And my ties to Take Stock go back quite a bit. Prior to serving on the Advisory Council, I've actually been mentoring with the program since 2005. And before that, I was actually a recipient of the Take Stock in Children program. So I have had the opportunity to see this organization grow. And I am, I think, a testament to the success of Take Stock.
And I think so as well. I really do. And not only have you gone through the process, you're giving back to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now you're a mentor.
Yes.
Now you're a part of the organization doing everything, well, I would assume, that helped you along the way.
That's absolutely right. The program has been growing and building since 1995, and it has impacted, just here in Lake County, over 500 students have benefited from the Take Stock program. And like me, there are students that may have come from a background where they were the first in their family to go to college, where they didn't have the financial resources or even the know-how within their circle to be successful in college. So the program definitely arms its participants with everything they need to not only be successful as an individual, but to break cycles in their family. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and we credit Take Stock. And my mom and I were actually, I'm getting emotional. My mom and I were actually college freshmen at the same time.
Is that right?
Yes. So we were editing each other's papers, and we absolutely give credit to Take Stock for, showing us that there was a way. There was a way to make it happen.
That's fantastic. That is.
Chris, you made me cry. What's that about?
It's what I do. Hey, you're my first. So. No, but that's absolutely. I mean, that is heartwarming. It truly, truly is. And now, did y'all both graduate?
Yes, we did. And actually, I'm an attorney.
Like on the same.
We didn't
graduation?
graduate at the same time. We were trying to do that, but it didn't work out quite that way. I've since gone to law school, and my mom is actually almost done with her doctoral degree. So when we say this program breaks cycles, it really does. And again, we're talking about 500 students from Lake and Sumter County alone. So it's the magnitude.
And is that yearly?
No.
I mean, how many yearly do we do? Because that's what you're up to at this point.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, right now we have over 100 students who are in the program here in Lake and Sumter County alone. And each year we bring on eighth graders is where we bring on students into the program. And we're always looking for new mentors to make sure that those students come into the program not only with a college scholarship, but with a mentor that can work with them throughout high school to ensure that they maintain their academic performance and extracurricular activities, and that they are prepared to be successful not only in high school but in college as well.
Right, and a lot of that is life skills, and people, a mentor, at least in this realm of conversation, a mentor is just, your grades are bad. Well, no, you help guide them on the right path, how to be responsible. Have you studied yet? Well, it would be my assumption.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And
it's a bigger picture, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and the final result is their performance in school.
And you see it as a mentor. So often I think people think to be a mentor, you've got to be a math whiz or a science expert, and that's not what it's about. It's do you have 30 minutes a week to sit down with someone and just make them feel like they are important, even if it's just for those 30 minutes. And, as Brittany said previous, it's that commitment to the student that really turns students around. You would be amazed at how they look forward to seeing their mentor and what a difference it makes in their academic performance and in their personality.
Oh, sure.
To know that they have someone there by their side. So it's great.
Now, let me ask you before we go any further. Do you, how often, I would assume that people would still maintain contact with their mentors. Do you by chance?
I do. Well, I maintain contact more so with my mentees that I've worked with. One student, actually, my first mentee.
This isn't your first rodeo.
No. Yeah,
you've mentored several.
I think I've mentored 6 students thus far. And my very first mentee is now a graduate of the University of Florida. And her and I, and I started mentoring her when she was in middle school. So, and similar background, first person in her family to go to college. So you really do see, the students that you work with, you see them bloom.
You see them grow from 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So how does this selection process go?
Sure.
We know that they start, or they are accepted in the 8th grade?
That's correct. And they're accepted based on academic performance, extracurricular, and we have to they have to indicate that there's a financial need.
Sure.
So those are kind of the things we look at. And our students go through a very rigorous selection process. There's an interview, and students are selected, and we get referrals from the guidance counselors at the schools here in Lake and Sumter counties.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the selection
Again,
process
the middle
works.
schools.
That's correct. And middle school, I think, is a pivotal moment in a child's life where they are making decisions about what kind of person they want to be. So why not interject at that point and show them that education is a positive throughway and it is a possibility?
Well, I think that message has been getting lost throughout the years anyway. Even back as far, I'm not going to age
Don't
myself.
date yourself, Kris.
Well, I'm not. Just a couple of years ago when I graduated high school.
There we go.
But it was very similar. The education was more of a burden.
Sure.
And it's, I just got to get the check in the box. I can't wait for my 4-year sentence to be over. I can graduate high school and or college, my 4-year sentence, my 6-year sentence.
Right.
And it's the mentality, from what I found, that once you can convert or can change their view of why they're doing it,
Sure.
I think it resonates longer and more powerful. Because, again, anybody can just, I got my high school diploma. Okay, well, why are you going to go to college?
Right.
Well, because society says I have to be successful. Well, yeah, but
Right. There's a bigger picture.
Sure. You gotta feel it. You gotta know it, and that's where I think it's so important that a mentor can slide into that position.
Yeah, and
if that makes
imagine
any
for
sense.
students who don't have anyone in their family who's gone to college at all, or someone
Right.
who has no one in their family that's finished high school. They absolutely need to see a reflection of what academic performance can do in the long run. And so I think for folks that are out there wondering if they've got what it takes to be a mentor, if you're a college student or a college graduate or an entrepreneur, or if you've got any, little bit of wisdom that you can impart, you are mentorship material.
Okay, and if someone were to be interested in becoming a mentor or getting themselves involved, what can they do? What are the steps that they can do?
Well, if you're interested in mentoring with Take Stock, it's a pretty straightforward process. I would say definitely check out our website, which is takestockinchildren.org.
Okay.
Our local Take Stock for Lake and Sumter counties, we're on Facebook, and that's a great way to kind of see what we're doing in terms of what we're doing in the community and the kinds of activities that we plan with our students. And that's just Take Stock in Children of Lake and Sumter counties on Facebook.
Okay.
And you can also call 352-787-6576, and that's the local Take Stock office. And it can be as simple as, I'm thinking about being a mentor, and our Take Stock leadership will get the door open for you and get you moving.
Okay, and I assume this, another very detailed screening. So if there's any parents out there or students listening right now, which they should be in school, they better be.
You
Might
better
be Christmas
be in school.
break, but it's going to. You're finding the high quality people who not only want to spend their time, but should be able to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. We do screen our mentors. Obviously, they go through a level 2 background screening as well. And we, work with the mentors to ensure that they have all the tools they need to be successful and know what to do when they're in front of that student.
Fundraising, mentors, what do you guys need to take the next step?
I think they're equally important, but I would say that a large portion of our funds come from private donors. So either individuals or corporations or, other nonprofits that maybe you don't have the time commitment to be a mentor, but you certainly have the financial resources that can help ensure that we can continue to provide scholarships to our students. And one phenomenal, aspect of being a sponsor with Take Stock, dollar for dollar, every dollar that we receive for scholarships is matched by the Florida Prepaid program. So if that is correct. So if you are a part of a nonprofit and you're currently providing, let's say, $500 scholarships annually, if you were to instead invest that money with Take Stock, it would become $1,000 towards a student's college education. So that is
that can get up there.
Oh, yeah, it can. And I think, and because we've been in this community for over 15 years, we do have sponsors who have seen the power of their dollars and have continued to come back year after year.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming and sharing this information.
Thanks for having me.
And if you have any more questions at all, what's your website again?
It is www.takestockinchildren.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And that concludes our show for the day. Again, I'd like to thank our guests and our listeners. I'm Kris Poliquin. We'll see you next time.